Welcome to the Cosmic Couple. Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode. We're going to talk more about college years.
Yeah, we left off with you having your last year in high school. And you applied to the same school that I did. Did you apply anywhere else?
I did. I had some other safety schools.
Okay.
Even though I knew I was going to get in, I wanted to have another option.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just applied to the one school and just, I guess was going to be it. Filling out those applications, they suck.
And back then, everything was handwritten.
Yeah.
You know, all the paper applications.
Right.
I remember going to the library.
Oh, yeah.
To get the individual because you have to look up the school's code number and all kinds of detailed things.
Do you remember when you found out you were accepted?
Oh, good question. I actually don't remember it. Do you remember me telling you that I got accepted?
Gosh, I don't recall a vivid memory of it, but I was never concerned that you wouldn't be able to get in. I knew you had good grades and all the qualifications. So I was more like, oh, I hope she chooses this school from the choices. Although I didn't want to put on pressure of like, no, you got to go where I am.
Well, because there is another conversation there where it was, if I went to another school, would we end up breaking up?
Yeah.
And I was so miserable without you in my mind. I was, applying to other schools was like a just in case, but maybe I hadn't voiced that to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I just hope that you would come to the same school. And some schools you have to live in the dorms. Like that's a rule, at least freshman year. I liked the dorms there. They were more of a suite, 2 doubles, a single, a shared bathroom, and that was all within, access from one door.
Yeah, so you didn't have to share bathrooms with a whole floor of people. But the school still came in and cleaned the bathroom, which was nice. So you didn't have to clean your own bathroom or anything.
Yeah, so that was kind of fun because I knew 2 of my suite mates were from the same city. And then I got to meet 2 other ones.
My roommate was a newer friend, someone that I had just met my senior year and in art class. And when we were walking after art class and we were just chit-chatting about what are you doing after your senior year? And then she said the same school. And I was like, well, we should be roommates.
Yeah.
And she was like, yes.
Yeah. And this was in the very early 90s. My roommate had a word processor, which was like a fancy typewriter that had just a very minimal small screen where you could type everything in and it had some memory unit and you could edit things. And then when you were ready, you could tell it to print everything out. But we're talking a small screen where, maybe you could scroll half a sentence. And so you would still want to pre-write.
I remember borrowing that from him. And it was late night English 101, I think. And that screen was so small. It was like maybe 2 inches tall.
Right.
And it was great, but it was also finicky. So
yeah, right. Yeah, if it got corrupted in any way, you weren't getting that back. Were teachers okay with us handwriting?
Well, some were and some weren't. I also got a job in one of the offices on campus. So I was able to use the typewriters there, and mimeographs were still around. When the faculty had to be given a memo from the chair, the dean or something, we would literally type it on this ditto machine. And then, it was insane. And they never came and got their mail. So it was like a whole semester year.
Right.
This professor was never picking up their mail.
I remember you talking about one of the art professors. He was kind of a scatterbrained person. And you're like, that little mailbox is jammed packed.
There's nothing's going to fit in there. Nothing. No, it was.
And interested in the memos you put all that heart and soul into, I guess.
No. But eventually, by the mid 90s, I was still around, still in that office, and we had computers and we had Xerox machines.
Wow.
And it was quite a technology upgrade.
Yeah, that's a big leap from the mimeograph.
Yes.
By the time I graduated, they were just beginning to assign student emails.
But they weren't letting you keep them for your life. It was just while you were a student. In fact, the student ID number were our actual Social Security numbers.
Yeah, they were printed on cards. Yeah, like ID cards.
You go to the library and pick up a book, and they're like, "What's your ID number?" And you would say it out loud to people. Not secure for the student at all.
No. Now, there were computers that we could use, but they were in like a computer lab. It was called the Living Learning Center.
Didn't you have a little song for that?
Yeah, it was something like Living, Learning, it's just a center. Which I think is, I think it's a Led Zeppelin reference or some kind of classic rock refrain or something. So
okay.
Look it up, listeners. I can't remember what it's from. But yeah, there was some computers in there. I think I maybe went down there once or so. I must have been allowed to handwrite most of my English papers. And of course, you had to handwrite your exam with your little blue books. And
I remember those.
If you had an essay question to answer for a test, then you had to handwrite it. I wonder how many professors just looked at how good the handwriting was and like, am I going to try and decipher this? C+. Like just graded the handwriting, right?
Yeah.
But I know that's still, how you have to do it, even with our son when he did essay questions in high school, still had to handwrite it.
The assignments are all done online now.
Oh, yeah.
You answer all the questions. You have a little essay. You submit that digitally.
Yeah.
You bring your computer for the exam. It's a totally different setup.
It is, yeah. Everything is online, and saving your work is up in the cloud. It's much easier than being worried that little word processor is going to corrupt on the 7th hour of typing your paper into it. I don't think there's just no autosave. If it just got unplugged, you lost it.
It was a scary world we lived in.
So that's kind of the beginning of art school together. We'll talk a little bit more about our journey as we continue through college in upcoming episodes. Please remember to follow us, subscribe, hit that notification bell on any of the podcasting platforms that you like to listen in on. And we will talk to you next week.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.